So I'm wandering here through Wimbledon Park, just cut through Southfields and the area they call the Grid. For obvious reasons, the neighbourhood is in a grid shape with lots of long streets of terraced houses, I guess post-Victorian houses. Anyway, cutting through the park, it's a beautiful day. I'm sure Lee or one of the staff members will make me an excellent coffee over at his café, Saucer and Cup. Yes, there's a lot of families and people out and about today having a daily stroll. The sun is out, so life seems pretty normal today. A lot of smiley faces. I'm sure everyone's talking about the same thing that everyone's been talking about for the last year. But there does seem to be a sign of positive energy and spirit amongst people. And yeah, lady walking her dog, and that's just giving me a bit of space to walk around. As you can see, I'm walking a bit faster than her. But yes, looking forward to learning more a bit about Lee and his family cafe.
Hello, I'm Stephen Marriott, author, traveller and newbie podcaster. Marriott Side Trips is the show where I share the stories of the folk I meet along the way. Real conversations with real people. But as we all know, travel has been a bit tricky of late. So being grounded, I've been taking the opportunity to get to know some Londoners. I've been meeting those traders and artists who've been keeping local London ticking over during the various lockdowns. And one of them is Lee Armitage, the owner of Saucer and Cup coffee shop in Wimbledon Park, southwest London. We chatted near the kitchen that Saturday afternoon, which was in full swing, cooking up takeaway food, but I make no apologies for the background noise. After all, Lee's business was providing a vital service to the community, serving decent coffee, cake and other joyous stuff. Lee's story is one of perseverance and self-belief. Smell the coffee and get ready to be inspired.
I'm really happy to be here with one of your excellent lattes in your cafe, Saucer and Cup. And your name's Lee Armitage, and this is, as I said, this is your cafe. So just tell us a bit more about you, your role in your business, etc.
Well, thanks, Steve. It's a real pleasure to be here. To take part in something like this is very positive, and to sit here and be able to discuss everything with someone like yourself is great. My role here at Saucer and Cup is it's my business. I built it from the ground up. We are into nearly our 7th year of trading now.
Good for you.
Which is very long. Sometimes I look back at the time and I say 7 years has flown by. It really has. And it's basically, for lack of a better word, my baby. Everything you see here is something that I've put together, I've thought out from the ground up, from the brand to the offering to the menus to the design. It's all been me, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a very intense 6.5, 7 years, but it's been absolutely incredible. It's been a journey that, unlike no other. It's a very teaches you a lot about life, I would say, an experience like this, and I wouldn't change it for anything else.
So, as you say, it's been your vision, and obviously you're doing everything then, from obviously being a barista to sourcing supplies, I guess, and marketing and things. But I know I've been in here a couple of weekends, and your dad's been here. Does he help you from time to time, or do other family members ever get involved?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So if we go back a little bit and go back into history, before we opened up, my mum was head chef at, you would say, it's a Thai restaurant in East London, in Bethnal Green. A very lovely place it was. It was almost an institution. What we had in this Thai place in Bethnal Green was cafe by day, Thai restaurant by night. But
interesting.
It was a no-menu affair.
Wow.
So for the Thai evenings, it would be run by my mum and also the Thai lady. Great woman she was, Irene. She's not around anymore.
Okay.
It became a place that was treasured by locals because you got what you were given and you didn't complain. But you knew that what you would get would be absolutely incredible. Very small place, probably about 18 covers.
Okay, yeah.
So absolutely tiny.
Not like some of the big Thai restaurants.
No, exactly.
Like,
absolutely tiny. Yeah, definitely. And it was just off Arnold Circus in Bethnal Green. So great little place, just opposite the church.
Yeah.
So my mum was there for about 5 to 6 years, maybe even longer.
But your mum's not from Thailand?
No. She's not from Thailand. What we done is, really, she had poured her heart and soul into the place.
Right.
And the plan was to open up a place of our own where we can sort of alleviate some of her workload. Mm-hmm. So then Saucer and Cup was born. what actually then happened, Steve, was we opened up Saucer and Cup, and we all became perfectionists. We all became addicted and workaholics. So rather than decrease our workload, it actually increased our workload. Yeah, especially for the first couple of years. Now we've got a good balance now.
Okay.
But yeah, for the first couple of years, we were all doing 6-7 days a week.
Your mum and your dad as well?
Not my dad, mostly just me and my mum.
You and your mum, yeah.
Yeah, so we're both the ones with a food background.
I see.
Yeah. Having my dad around is great. He gets involved from time to time. You know, he's a people's person, so he just loves
you can
it.
tell that, yeah.
Being in an industry like this, you have to be a people's person.
Sure.
So yeah, I think for someone like himself who loves talking to people, loves building relationships, on his day he won't have anything to do at home. He will say, "Lee, I'm coming in because I just want to be there," and that's brilliant. I also find the same thing with my staff, because when you have a great place to work, or a place like a coffee shop that harnesses relationships, it almost just attracts you, and it almost starts to blur the lines between work and a place of fun.
It's a lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. It is a lifestyle, and you have to embrace it. And I think my dad's embraced it really well. Mm-hmm. So it's great. I don't really need to encourage him to come in. He just will absolutely always jump at the opportunity, which is great. Yeah, my mum's a perfectionist like me, so she likes to keep a real strict control on things. But yeah, ultimately that is how we got started, and it was a very interesting journey.
I'm fascinated by the fact that you were obviously East London, Bethnal Green.
Yeah.
What took you to set up then in maybe an area you're not so familiar with then?
Yeah.
From there, in Wimbledon, here we are, Wimbledon Park, southwest London.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never been to Wimbledon Park in my life before until I came here to see this shop. Yeah. To be honest with you, Steve, it started out as sort of a joke. Yeah, good mate of mine. Mm-hmm. We were bored one evening. We saw a premises available. It was a lovely summer's evening. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, and we said, you know what? We've got nothing to do. We've eaten dinner. Let's just take a little lovely drive down to South London. I think we were in North London at the time. So we said, yeah, let's take a drive to Southwest London and we'll check this place out. I mean, no one's interested in taking it, but, we'll just do it to kill some time. And we got to Wimbledon Park. I mean, the place was terrible outside, even inside.
Right.
It was an absolute state. But we walked around the area. It was just I think it was like an August evening. It was just a lovely,
so about
lovely
8 years
evening.
ago, I guess.
Yeah. I think it would have been really like late 2013. No, yeah, probably summer 2013 it would have been. Right. Yeah, it was summer 2013. Exactly then. And then we looked at the place, thought, okay, it's fine. But, we went for a little walk then in Wimbledon Park, and the area was just, we could tell straight away from our surroundings, the park, the station, some of the type of shops that we had on this road, that this was an area devoid of what we wanted to do. We'd always wanted to think of a good quality coffee operation and bring it somewhere where it would be appreciated.
Yeah.
And it almost was a gut instinct choice where everything just felt right. Mm-hmm. Maybe the stars aligned, Steve. Not too much into that, but sometimes days like that just make you feel that.
Yeah, maybe you could, because you're feeling positive, you could see the opportunity as opposed to maybe seeing all the negatives about the building.
No, exactly. And it was looking back at it and looking back at what we had before and what we had to turn it into. It was a big journey. It wasn't easy, but you had to be positive, and there was nothing to lose.
Okay.
We were really passionate about doing something, and it was either this was our opportunity, or then we just wouldn't pursue it anymore. So it was either now or never, really, Steve. So, we just literally went through everything. It was a really long journey, got everything built. Most of the stuff you see here that was built upstairs was a lot of it done by myself. Wow. With a few other people, very hands-on. But yeah, it really...
So I'm getting the feeling it's probably inevitable that at some point you would... Obviously, the background with your mum involved with a Thai restaurant, etc., and food background. Was it inevitable that you would always set up a cafe or a restaurant or a coffee one, or could enterprise take in a different direction?
I mean, it could have. Personally, I did not see myself being in this industry. If you asked me 10 years ago,
Okay.
I mean, yes, I was in hospitality before this.
Right.
My goal was never really to own a cafe or run a cafe. I've always been a big coffee drinker. That's been a big part of my life. You wake up in the morning and smell the coffee,
Yeah.
as they say, Steve. But it's never been something that I thought I would run. And even before opening this place up, as we, done the paperwork, I said to myself, you know what, Lee, I'm not going to become a perfectionist with this. I'm going to open it. I'm going to open up a place that's going to become a place where my mum can not work too hard. We can oversee operations a little bit, but not let it take over our life. And what happened was a complete opposite.
Yeah.
We opened it, we became obsessed with quality and really just tried to better ourselves as much as we could. I mean, I'd say it's quite addictive almost, Steve, if I'm honest with you. It's seeing something grow and trying to develop it as well as you can. It's a journey,
Yes.
the journey of a business, seeing it from the beginning and carrying it through and really looking at it and saying, how can I improve? What can I do better? And how can I be more efficient? And how can I extract more? And yeah, really, I'm my biggest critic. I always say it. I say that to everyone. And I think that's a great trait, but it also comes with its drawbacks. But yeah, it's almost this obsessive dedication to being as good as you can be. And it's something that I thought I did not think I'd be in this industry, Steve. I really did not. I used to manage a nightclub before in Mayfair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was
Gosh.
quite cool.
Sure, you've got some stuff probably on the podcast. I'm sure some of the stories there.
Oh yeah, we could do more than a podcast with that one, Steve. Yeah, definitely. But that was great as well. But really, opening up Saucer and Cup has, even though it's been a challenge, and it's come with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I wouldn't change anything.
Wow, interesting. Well, I as a customer,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you. And I'm going to raise my latte cup here to you and your family.
Thank you, Steve.
And we felt that, I mean, obviously your hard work is to the advantage of the customers, because that does come through. And I think maybe about 6 months ago on a Sunday, Emma, my partner, and myself walked in here, and Emma used to have a bookshop and cafe in the centre, so she knows coffee. But as soon as we ordered, and because of her, I've got a little bit better tasting coffee and things. As soon as we ordered the coffee and we ordered a cake each, we were just like, wow, they're sourcing quality. So that perfection really does come through. So yeah, so a long way round. I'm just trying to say your hard efforts haven't gone unnoticed.
You're too kind, Steve. Thank you. No, really, thank you very much. I think, look, the trickiest element of it is the perseverance required. And I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of other cafes and coffee shops, look, I'm not trying to call myself a success. I'm always very humble in my efforts and my achievements. But I see a lot of cafes who start really well and then a couple of years down the line start to really take a downhill trajectory. You really require a sense of perseverance in this industry, and I think that's one of its biggest challenges.
Yeah.
It really is. And
what keeps you going then?
Well, I guess, even though I hate the word, I'd say it's a bit of pride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with pride, I guess.
Yeah, it can have its moments, having a strong sense of pride, remembering your morals as well.
Yeah.
Remembering why you're here.
Okay.
We're not here just for the bottom line. Yes, we are a business, but as well as to make money as a business,
it's got to be sustainable, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Our priority is it's always for you as a customer to have the best experience possible in terms of that coffee that you're going to be getting. That's going to be made with all the resources we've had in the best possible manner.
Okay.
From everything that happens behind the scenes to getting the coffee taste like that. It's all those methods will be implemented, and no cutting corners. It's look, everyone seeks efficiencies here and there, but sometimes there's certain things that you just have to do. And if it costs as a business, you just have to bear the cost of it. And it's these little factors, a combination of all these small details that, when come together, lead to something, some people, so it's quite small, but for us quite big, which is a lovely coffee.
It's an experience, and I guess London has gone through a bit of a coffee revolution.
Oh, definitely.
And I think, well, at least I benefit with Emma's knowledge of coffee now, but I think people in London generally know if they're having a good coffee or not.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And you must know that with the customers and their feedback.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think, it's great what's happening in London, and with the coffee and cafe industry, it's come such a long way. Mm-hmm. I look at when we started in 2014 and where the industry is at now, and it's just brilliant because the advancements happen and we all move together.
Yeah.
And it all helps everyone in bettering their standards, and you almost seek differentiation more than you would have if the industry wasn't as busy, so to say. But nonetheless, what I find, Steve, and I don't know if some other of your listeners would find this, I find that, and this is the way that I see the industry heading in, is it's not difficult to get a good cup of coffee.
Okay.
In London now.
Yeah.
It's really not. But there's going to have to be a strong difference between cafes that just look good, have all the right gear, and cafes who are great.
Okay.
So
you think maybe at the point, because obviously there's a lot of competition and people, and there's a lot of roasters in London now, and people are learning about coffee and sourcing, which maybe we'll come on to a little bit about that further into the interview. But what you're saying is now you're at the level where it's not just good enough to have quality. We're up to the next stage of things, aren't we?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we really are. I think so. And I think with customers and consumers being more aware, that will always push things in that direction. So with more and more people like yourself and all of our customers drinking quality beverages, we're able to see that, you've got places that look good, and they look good, or you've got places that you understand that commitment behind the scenes, and they go that extra mile, and it's the magic that happens behind the scenes that I think make the real difference.
Yeah, well, I think perhaps staff is important in that, and I feel that sense of camaraderie when I walk through. Your staff are always very attentive and friendly. So I guess I don't run a coffee business, so I wouldn't know all of these things. Come back to if it's as a customer, it seems to work, and obviously say there's obviously you're looking. It sounds part of your ethos just to improve, but what that's reminded me to ask you is that who are your customers? And I appreciate we're still hopefully coming out of this third lockdown with with now hopefully there's real, I think, more solid positive signs that there might be. So I appreciate you're not functioning as you would do in your normal tables and people inside, but who are your typical customer?
I think we've got quite a lot of our customers are locals.
Yeah.
And we've got a great reputation in the local area, and I think where we are in London, we've got a lot of people who appreciate quality, and they don't mind spending money on things that bring them joy.
Yes.
And life's necessary luxuries. And so, we've got quite a wide range of clientele, but we don't have one specific set of demographics,
No, okay.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot of customers on the weekend who can't come Monday to Friday because they were in the office previously. So could be your investment banker types who live in great houses here in southwest London. We've got quite a lot of freelancers, a lot of creative types, a lot of developers and marketing guys who I remember would actively seek this place before as a great place to come for not just coffee, but it enhances creativity almost, and being in a place with like-minded individuals who appreciate quality. We've got a few movie guys who come down here, and people into film and video.
Interesting.
A lot of our most loyal customers are actually into film and video, which is quite funny. But so it's quite a wide range, not so much mothers with too much time on their hands. Yes, but not as much as one would expect from southwest London.
Yeah.
And it's really quite diverse, So we get people coming.
Is this the bathroom?
Yep, through there. We get people travelling as well.
Yeah.
which is quite cool. I mean, I've had people come from Bedfordshire to come here.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've travelled the world for coffee, but
Wow.
it was quite flattering to have
Yeah.
someone come from Bedfordshire, and I was like, okay. you know.
Well, it's the word is being spread.
Yeah. That was quite a compliment. And so yeah, it's really quite diverse, and I think that's just it's almost a representation of London as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's you get a little bit of everything.
Okay, and I guess obviously not last summer, but when you've got the Wimbledon fortnight, tennis happening, does that bring a different dynamic for a few weeks?
It does sometimes.
Customers?
Yeah, we get a lot more tourists in. Get a few of the tennis players in as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not that great with celebrities. I mean, my past life in the nightlife industry put me in touch with quite a few, and I let that side of my life go, you know. But yeah, we get quite a few tennis players come in, their agents, their managers, and it is considerably busier.
I could imagine. I mean, I know obviously this is obviously Wimbledon Park, but obviously Wimbledon Village goes mad.
Oh, it goes crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but fortunately, you know, we have our clientele throughout the year who, you know, appreciate what we do, and it's they are our priority. If I'm honest, Steve, you know,
Brilliant.
Yeah, we have to keep our regulars happy and consistent. And I said this to you the other day, and I'm a strong believer of, you know, we judge ourselves by the worst coffee of the day.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Anyone can make a good coffee, but if the worst coffee that is coming out of your machine on the day is of quite a great standard.
Yes, that says something. It's a good benchmark.
Yeah, definitely. And we really try to set those benchmarks high. Yeah, no, we really do. And it takes a lot, as I said, perseverance, Steve. And sometimes it takes patience as well. Not patience just on our behalf, but patience on the clientele's behalf. And that's another thing that we're blessed with. You know, a lot of our customers sometimes can be so patient with us. Because if a coffee is questionable, we'll throw it away, Steve.
Right.
So your coffee won't be as quick as it would be elsewhere. So sometimes that means you have to wait a little bit longer than you would somewhere else. But, you know, having patient customers who understand our approach really is a blessing for us.
Well, that's a good sign, and I think that your customers appreciate coffee then in the main, and if they're prepared to be patient.
No, definitely, and they're patient with me sometimes as well, because I get very passionate behind the machine when I'm there. Yeah,
that's great. Well, I wanted to take things, I guess, stepping backwards a little bit, but finding out a little bit more about you. And I guess the first, and I know obviously your heritage is the Balkans and Montenegro, but your surname is Armitage, so Lee Armitage, and Armitage is not particularly a Balkan name. So just tell us a bit about your roots and things. And I think you told me before that you were born in Montenegro. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. So Montenegro, as you would realise, is a very small country.
Well, I was reminding myself on the map for it. I mean, obviously I know it's in the Balkans, but it's quite hard to find. Just above Albania and below Croatia.
So it's in between Albania and Croatia.
Yeah.
And we're from a small coastal town in the very south, not too far away from the border in Albania.
Okay.
Yeah, probably about half an hour, 45 minutes away from there. And so it's how would I say? I was born there. I came here when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
So most of my upbringing has been here in London.
Yeah.
My surname is a spin-off of the Albanian way of saying it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that's happened. You know, I look at London like home, even though my background is from Montenegro.
Yes.
That's where
I wouldn't have known unless respect to your father actually. Again, Emma's she's worked in the Balkans for 10 years, so they had an interest in the conversation. But I'll in London is just a Londoner wherever they're from. I think you've got to do your 10n years or something.
Exactly.
Then you become a Londoner.
No, definitely. And I think that's quite a beautiful thing in its way. In a way as well, and being able to call something like London home that's so diverse, it's shaped the person who I am, and growing up in in a cultural melting pot of what London is really gives you a unique upbringing in life, I feel, and I'd see it as quite a strength.
Okay, and do you think there's something about your Balkan heritage that maybe gives you a different attitude to life here, and I mean, you seem so positive and so much energy. It seems.
You catch me on a good day, Steve.
Oh, okay.
No, it's to be honest with you, no, not really. I think look, the only thing you can give me is a strong love for coffee, because where we're from, you drink coffee from when you are 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, Emma does talk fondly about the strong coffees.
Yeah.
From all around the various countries in the region.
Yeah. So definitely, coffee is coffee is culture there. If you don't drink coffee, there's something wrong with you. And so
well, I think there's something wrong with London now. They don't drink coffee.
No, exactly, definitely. So that's what it gives us, But apart from that, I mean. I wouldn't put anything down to my cultural background. Okay. I'm a firm believer of wherever you come from in the world, it's you are who you are.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't really change too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very open to different cultures and.
Yeah, you have to be living in London.
Oh, of course, yeah, exactly.
And what are the pros and cons? I know first and foremost, you are the business in many ways, from what you said. But obviously, your father helps out, and does your mum still help out here?
Yeah, she still helps out. She does quite a few days, a bit more now. We're just still looking for some other people.
Okay.
There's a lot of pros and cons to working with family. Yeah.
Preempted my question.
Yeah, exactly. I guess the biggest pro, Steve, would be. I get to spend time with my family.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is such a blessing. It's a luxury almost, because if we didn't work together, I don't know if I'd be able to spend all this time with them. So I'd say that is definitely the biggest pro, Nice. Yeah, but it does come with its drawbacks. As I'm sure many people will tell you, working with family can really... you get your power struggles, decision making. Sometimes it's all over the place. Yeah.
And are the family all invested in the business, or is it just yourself?
It's just myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get the final call and things.
I like to think I do, yeah, but that's probably my biggest problem. Yeah, getting the final call and then being met with resistance and left and right. So, but again, I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and it's just like anything. You get your good days and you get your bad days, but the definitely the pros outweigh the cons. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brilliant. And what's it been like working during this 3 lockdowns? There's going to be challenges there.
Oh yeah.
Well, apart from the obvious that you can't have customers inside. I mean, you did in the summer, obviously.
Yeah, it's. I've thought about that as well quite a bit. It's probably not what you expect, Steve. That level of perseverance takes a hit.
Okay.
Yeah, because us being open in the manner we are does not allow us to truly represent who we are as a business.
Yes.
Yeah, doing just takeaway service or detracts from the qualities of our business, and we're not able to serve you in the way we want to serve you.
Yes.
We can't give you that quality of service. We can't give you that experience that we yearn to give you. So staying motivated and persevering through this period is probably the hardest part. We're lucky that financially we've been fine.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah,
And at least you've been able to stay open in the sense that I think the first time everyone looked.
Yeah.
But at least subsequent to then, you could just still do takeaway.
No, exactly, and it's been such a blessing.
Yeah.
No, definitely, and it's it's given us a routine. We're able to come in.
Yeah.
We're able to engage in conversation. We're able to drink lovely coffee. So, really, it's been such a blessing. There'd be nothing worse than to be staying at home on furlough. It'd be an absolute nightmare. But again, staying motivated and persevering, that's really the toughest part of it.
Yes.
And, that's what I struggle with personally. I see that's what some of the guys struggle with.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
I think obviously we do different things, but for me, the virus per se, I was never particularly worried about that. I'm not in the vulnerable camp, and so per se I felt worried about that. But it was always what did worry me was my how I'd react to it mentally, and my friends and family around me. That was always the biggest concern for me. So it's interesting, as you say, that has been something that it's been a challenge.
Yeah. And mentally, that's it, Steve, isn't it? It's from a mental perspective. That's where the biggest challenge has been. But yeah, I think for us, I think we're one of the lucky businesses, you
Yeah.
know, being able to stay open and being able to keep everyone in work, being able to pay all our suppliers,
That's
which
amazing.
are the forgotten heroes of the industry. You know,
Yeah.
everyone speaks of restaurants and almost the front line of the industry being impacted by this, but no one sees the whole supply chain that's hit really hard. So we're able to pay all of them on time, put them down as a priority. Yeah, my sole priority throughout the last year has just been keeping this place going, making sure
Yeah.
everyone's paid,
Brilliant.
keeping everyone in work, and just keeping the place ticking over. That, and hopefully we can get back to what we love doing and serving people in the way we want to, and giving them the experience of what represents us.
Well, I'm
And
certainly looking forward just to popping in here and
Yeah.
sitting down and enjoying the vibe
yeah.
and the atmosphere.
And there is always such a lovely vibe, Steve, and it's quite difficult, you know, when we're doing just takeaway
Yeah.
and you can't generate that vibe. I feel our vibe sometimes is quite unique to us. And
I mean, I think, you know, it's always hard to put down on, you know, on paper what creates a good vibe. But
Yeah.
all I would say is I think I've been around, and you know, we
Yeah.
walked in here in the summer when you could come in again and, you know, inside, and I just felt it, I guess, with the quality combined. That
yeah, and I think it's so important, you know, being able to create a vibe.
yeah.
The last thing we want is a place that does a lot of great things, but is always quite soulless. That's one thing I've tried to avoid, you know, and I've said to everyone they can express themselves, they can express their personalities. We're not very formal with the way we serve, in hope of it elevating the vibe and not leading to a bit of a soulless ambience that you find in some great cafes and coffee shops.
Yeah.
Or some corporate chains that do things really well but just lack that bit of character.
Customer first, I guess.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Okay. And you touched on then, or you mentioned suppliers, sort of like the unsung heroes often, you know, keeping us fed and...
No, definitely. Yeah.
Just tell us about some of your suppliers and where you source coffee from, and the food in general as well, because that, as I say, the cakes, that blows our mind.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you very much. It's suppliers is probably one of the, when we speak of challenges, opening up this business, finding the right suppliers is usually the real task, you know, and it's something that we still work on up to this day, you know, even 7 years on.
Okay.
You know, we're still working on.
Someone trying to grab you there.
Sorry, Steve, chef,
Yes,
coffee, please.
coffee.
Yeah.
Sakamirabaksa.
Chef, I'll be back, chef. Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right. No, you're a working cafe.
Yeah, exactly. So
And those suppliers, if you say it's a challenge to get good supply. I mean, do you source the beans direct, or do you have like London wholesalers, or is it a mixture?
Yeah, so
and, you know, how do you know when you've got good quality?
yeah, so with a coffee perspective, I mean, for us, it's been a journey. It's been a real journey.
Yeah.
Cutting a long story short, when we first opened up, we put a lot of faith in one coffee roastery. As I learned more and more about coffee, I found out that they really could be a lot better than what they were doing.
Okay.
They were cutting a lot of corners. I wasn't happy with this, nor were they. Then I've had to look for other suppliers elsewhere. Then another really reputable, great local London company, same thing, exactly the same thing.
Do you think this is some of them as they expand and they cut
That's
corners and
that's
try
definitely
to,
been
you
the
know,
case.
try to, boost their margins?
Oh, by all means, definitely, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Without naming names, but
Yeah, without naming names, without a doubt, 100%.
Okay.
Until then, now, you know, one of our main suppliers now is Workshop Coffee, based in Bethnal Green. They do our house coffees.
Okay.
Credit to their guys and their head of coffee, James Bailey. Their level of quality control is absolutely second to none.
Okay.
I've bought coffee on a wholesale basis from around Europe and everywhere in the UK, and
Have you? Okay.
their quality control is really what keeps us going back to them.
Interesting.
Their transparency, and we've been with them probably for the last 4 years now.
And do they source coffee from all around the world?
Yeah. From the main specialty growing regions, they'll be buying coffee. I've always said we're a cafe, not a roastery, so we let the roastery
make the decision.
Yeah, and we can put faith in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're able to then just serve what the roastery, who does a house coffee, workshop coffee, we're able to serve that in confidence. Mm-hmm. So I've bought literally tons of coffees over the years from Workshop Coffee.
That's one of your
Thank
coffees
you,
around
chef.
with it.
Yeah.
Black coffee.
always.
Yeah.
I bought tons of coffees from them, literally, and I'll probably only return, say, 2 batches over the last 4 years.
I mean, I know nothing about coffee, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of any
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely. And on those couple of times, they've been great. They do our house coffee. Then we've got other coffees, other roasteries in the UK that we buy from on a, say, guest basis. So we're always serving a few different types of coffees, 2 different espressos, a couple of different filter coffees. Sometimes we buy from Europe as well. Big fan of the Scandinavian coffee roasteries.
Interesting.
We find that they roast their coffees in a particularly different way, a bit lighter, so it brings out some of the more flavours. A lot of the UK roasteries are going in that direction, which is great as well. It means we don't really have to go to Scandinavia to get it. But it's nice to try, and that's from a coffee perspective. And from a food-wise, again, it's that journey.
Don't give the secret away with suppliers, because you'll I think they're special, those cakes. But sorry, interrupted you.
No, I mean, I've always been very transparent, Steve. I always have, and I've always said, even customers who come in here, they ask us, "Do you make those cakes?" No, we don't. Mm-hmm. This is who makes them. Yeah, and we're proud of our relationship with them, and we want to be able to showcase and highlight that we don't make these cakes. Mm-hmm. This is the doing of so and so, and we always encourage that. That transparency is a big part of the business for us. And cakes wise, we've got a great couple, husband and wife, Alex and Lara. They're based in Dulwich.
They are superb.
We've been with them from day one.
Well, that was a good find then.
Yeah. I think that if we look at all our suppliers, they're the only suppliers we've had from day one.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been a very long relationship with them. Our pastries are done by a great Michelin star chef. Okay. Mikhail Johnson, lawyer turned chef, opened one of the world's top 50 restaurants in Chiswick, Hedone.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which he then closed so he could focus on baking. Wow. So he does all our pastries, does our bread, and
your bread as well. Okay.
Yeah, really great. As with anyone who's on that level, it comes with its sort of
price.
Yeah, price and idiosyncrasies.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's great. Yeah, and we've been working with them for the last couple of years now, I think. Brilliant. And for us, it's they are on a wholesale basis the most expensive suppliers in London.
Cutting your margins a bit then, obviously, on that basis.
Oh, by all means.
Your cakes, they're reasonably priced. Yeah. I only know the cakes, but it's a long-term game as well, isn't it?
That's what it is, Steve, without a doubt. And we are cutting our margins on those cakes and those pastries for certain, because we're not in this game to make money off pastries and become rich off pastries. We're in here, if we're going to sell you a pastry, we want it to be the best possible pastry you can get, and without us making it, because we're not pastry chefs, alongside the best coffee that you can get that we can physically make. And that's the plan. And 10, 20, 30, 40 pence here and there, for us, it's a cost that we can bear in order to give you that experience. And if we do have to charge you extra for that premium, it's justified.
Yes.
It's not that we're putting a premium on it.
You're not trying to rip people off. It's value for money, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the term I'm struggling for.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. All right, I want to just round up in the next few minutes, but just delve a little bit more into you maybe, and we're talking about suppliers from different parts of London.
Yeah.
Have you got a favourite area of London? I know you don't live in the area, you're more central, or is it an area you find yourself drawn to? In normal circumstances?
Yeah. In normal circumstances, exactly. I mean, it's a very good question, Steve. It really is. I live in Soho currently.
Okay.
Which is,
that's a village in itself.
yeah, exactly. It really is. You tell people, "Oh, you live in Soho. That's an experience," and it is.
I used to live in sort of London Bridge and Waterloo area, so Soho's never that far.
Exactly. And
the walking distance. 20 minutes, half an hour walking distance.
And it's a place most people would go and visit, but would never expect to live there.
Well, I know there's a village community there.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and it's super cool, and especially now during this whole lockdown. It's really
would have been quiet, of course, but just you've had no tourists, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like
yourselves.
it's brilliant in a way.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's really diverse. It's really there's a lot going on. There's a lot of personality to it, which is really cool. I love a lot of parts of East London as well.
Okay.
Yeah, go down back to our roots in Bethnal Green.
And that's where you grew up then, was it Bethnal Green?
No, I didn't. I grew up just off West London.
Okay.
Yeah, just in between Edgware Road and Maida Vale.
Okay,
So,
all right.
not too far from Central London
No,
either.
so you've
but-
always been fairly central then?
Yeah, but we spent a lot of our time in East London.
Okay,
Um,
because of the restaurant?
Yeah, and I like the character that it exudes.
Yeah.
Exudes a lot of character. But I think the beauty of London is there's little pockets wherever you go. So whether that's North London, East, South or West, they've all got their little pockets where each generates a sort of level of character and personality that you can appreciate. And for me, that's what I love. I can go to parts of South London, like, Wimbledon Park is great. It wouldn't have been my area of choice, but I wouldn't change anything about it.
Yes.
But you can get to parts of South London that are really great that I quite enjoy. Clapham Common.
Okay.
Good place to be. St John's Hills, great area. Go down to Brixton, that's also super cool. But I think it's difficult to be somewhere in London and say I don't enjoy it, and that's again the beauty of growing up here. And
yeah. So you're a city boy at heart, then, are you?
yeah, I think so. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that I think takes me up towards the end. I think of the question. I'd like to ask you to sort of round up things. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
That's a great question, Steve.
So I just thought I'd trap that in and take you by surprise.
Yeah, I would guess probably in this industry still.
Okay.
Maybe with just a few more establishments, or maybe in the roastery side.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's something that we're still working on. I almost feel that I'm at a bit of a crossroads now.
Yeah.
Do I go in one direction or the other?
Okay.
And that's happening now. So
So you're the ideas are sort of blossoming a bit, are they?
Yeah.
Or you're thinking about it.
yeah. Well, the industry does take all that persevering, Steve, and it takes a lot of mental strength, and it does drain you.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes you wonder, do I have another 10 years left in me for hospitality?
Yeah.
And for really giving it 110% all the time, day in, day out. On a good day, you do.
Mm-hmm.
You always think, there's no other job in this world that I would want to be doing than what I'm doing now. But on the bad days, it's bad. So the highs are really high and the lows are really low.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately the level of the highs are worth it. That it would be a shame not to pursue this industry and be the best versions of ourselves and expand without over expanding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can survive. I mean, obviously there's a lot of competition for coffee cafes in London, and obviously this is the challenging times. I think if you can evolve in this period,
Yes,
there's
exactly.
got to be good opportunities.
Yeah, and I still think there's room in the industry for people who are quality driven and quality focused. As I say, I see behind the scenes a lot of corners cut, and any place that I'd be involved in the future, we'd want to shift that, and take inspiration from other places around the world and see what they're doing right and bring that here into London, which I still think has some way to go. So,
well, it'd be interesting maybe to interview in a couple of years.
Definitely.
Find out what decisions you did make and whether you went into the roastery or how things have evolved, and a good excuse to delve back into your past there when you were managing a club in Mayfair and things. So I think there's a lot of good stuff that we could probably find out. Unless there's anything you wanted to add about the business or yourself that we didn't cover, I think maybe we'll leave it there. Apart from, obviously, please tell us. We're on Arthur Road. How people can find the cafe, your website, and all these things to find out more about yourselves.
I mean, just Saucer and Cup on Arthur Road. You can see us at saucerandcup.com.
Okay.
Very easy place to find. All I would say is being strong and being able to persevere, and if you've got a vision, being able to pursue it, even when it feels like everything is working against you. Being able to see light at the end of the tunnel, especially during these testing times.
Yes.
That if you can stay mentally strong and resilient, good things will come. But you really have to work for it. So that's what I would take. And I'd also like to say thanks to you, Steve, for being able to sit here and discuss this with you. And yeah, I'd love to be able to take you up on an opportunity in a couple of years' time and see what's happened.
That would be great, and it's been an absolute pleasure coming into the cafe today and learning more about your life, Lee. And I think that's some real great words of wisdom there, just to, especially just in terms of this early days of this podcast. And I want to show people the world and the people I meet really on the way. So looking forward to coming back just for a coffee and sitting in the cafe.
By all means.
That seems like there seems to be light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've got to be positive, and good things will come. Yeah, no, thank you, Steve. It's been a real pleasure.
Many thanks, Steve.
Yeah, real pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening, and a big thanks to Lee for his time and insights. More about this episode, including details of Saucer and Cup and other things mentioned, can be found in the show notes at my flashy new website, marriottsidetrips.com. That's MARRIOTTS sidetrips.com. Plus, if you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your favourite podcast service, of course. Reviews really help spread the word. You can also sign up to my newsletter through my website. By signing up, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll also get an exclusive access to other cool things, including an ebook checklist, essential checklist for the modern day traveller. I haven't decided quite yet which guest interview to put out next, but I have some amazing personal stories to share with you, from a young Afghan refugee and his story of becoming a footballer, then a retailing entrepreneur, a Turkish artist's story of her 365 days of lockdown art, to a Peruvian brother and sister team serving up their street food in Waterloo. See you next Thursday for another London side trip. In the meantime, take care.